to right-wing doom? It's Worth It: How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as ARPANET, created by whom? Created by we the people. And you know what? In everything that's going on, if that is the one thing we remember, we the people, we the people, we the people, we would be in great shape. Anyway, folks, how are my people doing? I trust everybody is doing just fine. I trust everybody is doing just fine. Anyway, folks, we got a great show for you today. We've got a great show for you today. But before and without any further ado, let's throw it to the studio with El Senor Jacques Van Beber and Mayana. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning. I just want everybody to know they're listening to KPFT 90.1. That's 90.1 FM KPFT Houston.
All right. Yeah, we missed our ID this morning, so.
Oh no!
We got it. We got it in there.
We got it now. We got it now.
All right. Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
Okay. Hold on. I'm unprepared.
Well, you know what? Let me. While you find it.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
The show opens with a sharp critique of official economic narratives, challenging the White House assertion that the economy is the greatest in history. When revised data reveals 2025 saw the weakest job growth in more than a decade. It then pivots to the growing grassroots rejection of federal enforcement tactics in Minnesota, where activists and community members are confronting ICE after recent rises in deportation operations and fatal incidents, a moment amplified by media figures like Mika Brzezinski. Finally, the narrative expands globally to Cuba, not as a ideological struggle, but as the cumulative result of U.S. sanctions and oil restrictions and external economic pressure that have choked its economy and deepened human suffering. Throughout the hour, the show demands accountability, connects the dots between policy and lived realities, and invites listeners to join in building responses that center people over power. All right.
Cuba and Haiti, those, they're always in trouble with the West, it seems.
Yes. I mean, Mayana, I earlier today you were asking me about Epstein, and also you brought up the word Cuba and Haiti. I was going to talk about Cuba today, but it is so amazing, right? That well, I tell you what. Before we go there, good morning, Mayana. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning.
So let me ask this question,
Hey,
Jack.
Egberto,
Yes.
I think Sandy's chomping at the bit to get in and pitch.
Oh, wait a minute. Sandy is wanting to get in and pitch right away. Sandy, good morning, my brother. How you doing?
I didn't say that. Good morning, Egberto.
Hey,
Chomping at the bit to pitch. That's an interesting concept, isn't it? However, folks, it is Fund Drive. It is day number 2 of our Fund Drive. We begin today at an astounding 241 contributions after just one day. Now, some of you out there might go, no, this sounds like statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's not. It's sustainers. It's what we've been talking about now for 3+ years. If you join as a sustainer, $5 or $10 a month to this little old community radio station, I have a dream. No, not the one that the great Martin Luther King had. Don't I wish. But I have a dream that one day we're going to begin a fund drive, and on day number 1 it will be over, because there'll be so many people just throwing down a $5 or $10 or $20 bill every month. And when we draw the sustainers at the beginning of the month, there would be enough in there to satisfy the drive. That would be it. It would be done and over. As it is, we're off to a terrific start, having accumulated $49,106 after one day on the air, plus about 175, 176 sustaining pledges that is powering this drive. Think about it, folks. You got one community radio station. We got volunteers manning the controls and the microphones and providing the content. We've been here for not quite, but almost as of March 1st, 56 years. And it's just magic. It's magic to the point that you participate. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Egberto, you got a $500 goal. Go.
All right. Well, let me tell you something. I have faith in all our listeners, not only throughout Texas, not only throughout the country, United States, but throughout the world.
You're clear, Sandy.
We have actually gotten contributions at times from as far as the UK, etc., for people who listen to us consistently. But before I finish my conversation with La Preciosa Mayana, I want to say Don. Don says, "Good morning from Southern Maryland. I'm a bit preoccupied this morning, but I'm listening." What I'm going to ask you, Don, is to put in that chat, or if you want to call in, you can as well. What has you preoccupied? Because we want to give reason for why folks listen here. And if you are preoccupied, I want to know why. And I want to be able to at least give some sort of a message that maybe says we don't need to stop worrying. We just need to go ahead and move forward. Elizabeth LaRue Selleck, or rather, Elizabeth Selleck LaRue from Mexico. ¿Cómo estás, amiga mía? Welcome aboard. I have a whole lot in the chat, so just give me your city and state if you want me to acknowledge you on air directly. I see Estedian is in the chat as well. Celeste, Robert K. Treadwell as well. People from all over, and of course in our secondary chat we got Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia, Joe from Los Angeles, California, etc. Anyway, as I was mentioning before, okay, beforehand, I have to do a quick pitch, folks. You see what is happening with the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos is attempting to cripple the Post as much as it can to appease Donald Trump. Again, the billionaires owning the mainstream media, they control what you will know, what you can know. Let's remember that. Let's remember that as long as they are paying for what you see, what happens is they limit what you can see. I wrote a piece last night. I didn't go to bed till after 2 o'clock, man. This piece was titled "The American Holocaust." And when you get a chance, if you want to read that, because it has a whole lot of this in here as well. And I was serious about it. Some of you saw 2 days ago when we kind of hinted at it. I really went down and did some little bit of research and typed it up. It's a long piece, over 2,000 words. But check it out. It has the American Holocaust in the title. Actually, the name of it is The Upcoming American Holocaust, Connecting Billionaires, AI, ICE, and a few more things. So there you go. Cheryl Elkins is in the house from Massachusetts, a great activist out there as well, and a great supporter of Politics Done Right and the station. Alistair Waters in Conroe. How you doing? Beautiful. Great having you here. And a stadium, of course. And Marnie from Charleston, South Carolina. Mayana earlier tickled me. When I say tickled me, I'm not talking that way. Tickled my mental juices.
Yeah.
When Mayana
Okay.
said, because I think Mayana did something this morning that, again, folks, call 713-526-5738. Please contribute early so that I can keep talking about the things we need to talk about. But we got to raise some money for the station. So if you're listening, call 713-526-5738, extension 1, and give whatever you can. Uh, Mayana did something this morning that I get in my emails, and it was I think I called it a sweet scolding. It's like, don't you care about what's happening in with the Epstein story? And the truth of the matter is, I do care. I heard you breathe. Did you want to say something before I continue?
Yeah, because I didn't say what did you care. I was asking about how come we don't get to see it. If you had any idea about why it is that we are still not able to see the last bit of the Epstein files, when Congress and everybody is seeing it. And from what I understand, it's like really terrible with like ritual stuff, and it's all full of like children essays and all kinds of things. And I was wondering why it is that we are still not seeing it. And I understand the billionaire,
Yeah,
issue, and but they let everything else out except for that. And I felt
right.
like they should let that out. And I also understand you saying about them, that it's been there for a long time. And I agree. There was somebody who made that remark, and it's very understandable. I just think that the difference is that the president of the United States and the people of MAGA, and who say that they're against all these things happening to children and these rituals and all this nonsense, and yet and still we're not able to get them to show us that part. And I was hoping that that would put some light into some of those people who are in MAGA, to say this is the depth of the depravity that's inside that. Because at first I didn't understand why they were so into it, but now I'm like, whoa, it's a lot.
Yeah, you are so requiring moral consistency from MAGA. Wow. But I
I
mean,
I I try.
That's like an
I'm
oxymoron.
I'm
I
just
know, right?
trying, because sometimes I just, the level of things I'm trying, I want to understand, you know?
And and again, I think you are giving MAGA too much credit. You have morals. Jack has morals. Sandy has morals. Howard has morals. None of you decided to put. Look, there's nothing. How much worse from a moral standpoint? And I really mean this. What else does a person that does the things that brother Trump does? What more does he have to do to say voting for this guy is not only negative for America, but it's negative for our own, if you believe in having a soul, for your own soul. And that's why I've gone to say what mental gymnastic one has to go through to say, I don't have a problem voting for a guy like this, but for voting for a guy like Obama, who has been married once,
Right.
stayed with the family, is a good working religious man of whatever faith, has all, I mean, when you can go through mental gymnastics to support somebody like Donald Trump, right? It's all over, Mayana. It's all over, Jack. So, I mean, when I say it's all over, I mean that those people that have done that with all this information out there, I have lost the will to try to understand how they think. I will continue to love them. I will continue to talk to
I'm
them.
surprised you say that.
Hey,
Uh,
Berto.
yes,
Hey, let's get on with your show, man.
Oh,
yeah.
he's
Oh no, this is my show. This is also what I want to talk about, because I think more importantly, when people bring up issues, it's not about my show. It's about what are concerning people, and some in the chat have said the same thing too with regards to a stadium. I'm going to get to Cuba. I'm going to get to the others as well. Now, Elizabeth says the only way to understand MAGA is to study cult behavior, and that is true, Elizabeth. That is true. So yes, Mayana, let me tell you, we have to we have to understand that. But earlier also, the other thing that I mentioned to you that I think is very important is that the power of billionaires actually superseded everything with respect to Epstein, because this has been here since Bush, this has been here since Obama, and all of the, look, any one of these Democratic presidents as well. or people running as Democrats could have let work on getting those files out to have a almost sure win, because the people on the fence would not have voted for Trump if a lot of this was out. But billionaires are so powerful, and this bleeds into everything that we do. They are so powerful that neither party were willing to get this information out. So when people tell me why don't you concentrate on Epstein a bit more, my answer is no. I need to concentrate on Medicare for all more. I need to concentrate on healthcare, which affects every single person more. I need to concentrate on what we're doing to other countries that eventually blow back towards us, right? So Mayana, that story is important, and I needed to make a mention of based on what you've said there, what needed to be said, because you're absolutely right for bringing that up. All right, before I get into I'm going to get into what just happened in Minnesota in a minute, but we are in fund drive, as Sandy says, and if I don't try to bring a few dollars in, Sandy is going to tell me, Egberto, I'm taking you off of the air because you're not carrying your own weight for this public station. So
you're hot.
I am going to throw Sandy back on air, and then I'm going to go ahead and we'll talk about Minnesota and then Cuba. And Mayana, thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you, Egberto. Thank you, Mayana. Folks, yeah, we're looking for the first pledge of the morning. I'm going to be brief because these topics deserve light of day on the airwaves of Pacifica. And of course, you can call in and participate in this program, and I want to leave room for that too. But can I ask somebody out there to crack the ice on this $500 goal and be the first one to step up? March 29th, we're going to be celebrating our 56th birthday at the Knights of Columbus Hall on East Whitney Drive in Houston. That's near Airline and I-45, with a crawfish boil from 1 to 5 p.m. One ticket. You can get it right now online at kpft.org or by calling 713-526-5738, option 1. One ticket is $75, a pair $130. The proceeds go to benefit this radio station, and we'd love to have you step up and help us pinch and peel. We also have a vintage t-shirt from the 1980s with the galaxy and the location of KPFT pointed out in the galaxy, and the tagline, "The Reason for Radio, Pacifica." Support the station by getting one of those cobalt blue or black t-shirts with a $100 contribution. So many ways to say thank you. You can check them all out at kpft.org and make your pledge online by hitting the donate button or calling the number 713-526-5738, option 1. Let's get it going, Egberto. Lots of ground to cover this morning.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for that, Senor Manager of KPFT, doing a hell of a lot of work, hell of a good work to make sure things continue and work well here. Anyway, folks, look, yesterday, Holman decided that we are leaving Minnesota. We were victorious. We got what we needed to get done. No, you didn't. They kicked your butt out. People, the resistance worked. So Don, as you sit back there and say, I am concerned. Remember this, Don. When we work together, Glenn Ryan, I see you in the house. When we work together, we get things done. And before I go, remember, Coffee with Egberto, a $250 contribution. Driving a part of Harris County, we sit down, have coffee, and great chats. But let's listen to how Mika Brzezinski, when somebody in the mainstream media responds appropriately, I get excited. And this is how Mika did it. Let's go ahead and play that piece I did yesterday. Well, Tom Holman, the Trump's immigration czar, also known as, or AKA, Evil Being, came out and gave a press conference today and said, we were successful. The surge that we came to Minnesota for is done. And you know what? we're now leaving. Reality is, I want to give a big kudos to the very well designed and engineered protests that were peaceful, that were effective, that caught these immigration officers, these ICE officers, these CBP officers, made them the thugs that they actually are, and had it on video in various angles to show that this police force that Donald Trump has put into place with the purpose of not getting rid of all these immigrants, but in the long run to really terrorize Americans as our economy fails, and those what should I call it, concentration camps that they're building. These are the guys who are going to populate those concentration tanks, not with immigrants, but with you. When the dissension start because of our economic problems. But anyway, today it was really refreshing to see a host just go bat crazy and point out in no uncertain terms, this was not an exit by Holman and the thugs. This was actually them being decapitated by the protesters. I want you to listen to Mika Brzezinski, because I think whenever I see the mainstream media actually says something accurate with respect to going up against Trump, I think it needs to have play. Check out Mika Brzezinski, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Some might say it's safer because ICE is leaving, at least the surge. That is Tom Homan, the border czar, giving the public an education on public safety. Kind of interesting after ICE left a trail of death and destruction in Minneapolis. 2 dead, shot at point blank range by ICE. By ICE. And the investigations of those 2 murders, no word on whether the state will be given back evidence that the feds took away after many administration officials immediately defamed both victims, calling them domestic terrorists, using words like assassin, saying things that simply didn't happen. So the public is safer in Minneapolis if ICE gets out, given what has happened there because of ICE: chaos, fear, people being unlawfully detained, people being ripped away from their families. And no, they're not the worst of the worst. And some of them are merely undocumented, but also working and giving back, serving this country. Yeah, they didn't go after the worst of the worst. They say they are now. And in a condescending way, say that Minnesota is finally working with them to go into the prisons. No, you are cowering away with your tail between your legs and going toward the prisons now to try and figure out how to deal with these polls. As new NBC News polls find, a majority of Americans have negative views of nearly every aspect of President Trump's aggressive immigration and deportation tactics, what they did in Minneapolis, including killing people at point blank range, shooting them in the head or in the back 9 times, and then accusing them moments later of deserving it. People don't like that. People don't like seeing people murdered in the streets and then blamed for being murdered. Tom Homan. No, don't condescend and lecture the state of Minnesota after what your ICE dudes, your ICE bros, idiots, untrained idiots who literally don't know how to handle weapons, who walk in front of cars like boneheads and shoot people. And according to the polling, 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of border security and immigration. This was an issue he ran on, Tom Homan, and then you ran it into the ground. It's down 7 points since August of last year. 66% say they disapprove of the way ICE is handling its job versus 34% who approve, and 6 in 10 Americans say they don't trust that there will be fair and transparent investigations into the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. See, people believe their eyes, Jonathan Lemire. They believe what they saw versus what Kristi Noem said, versus what Stephen Miller said. And Tom Homan, all of you guys in the administration who still somehow have your jobs, you cannot tell the president what he doesn't want to hear, which leaves your numbers in the gutter, sort of where Pam Bondi accused lawmakers of going yesterday when they presented her with the victims of sexual abuse. She considered those people like being in the gutter. Literally, who raised these people? Who raised these people? Because Americans, they don't like what they see. So you can scurry away from Minnesota and blame Minnesota for the public safety issue. But what ICE brought to Minnesota and Minneapolis specifically was a living hell for the community. Thank you very much. Jonathan Lemire, you better take this away from me. I'll be done now.
Now, I am so, let me tell you, she was mad. She wasn't saying 6 of one, half dozen or the other, or this side said this side said the other. No, there are 2 sides to this argument. There are not 2 sides to discussion. The reality is they're simply wrong. I want to say thank you to Marnie. Marnie gave us a contribution this morning. I thank you so kindly. One of our brothers inside our Marnie, I think it's a guy inside of our Substack chat, as well as Suzanne. I know you guys wanted to take us off of 0. I thank you so kindly. We need let's get about $455 more that we need. And look, let me tell you, we have all the examples of what's happening now. I don't know if you heard. I think I mentioned this on my 3 o'clock show. What's going on with Gallup? Gallup, in order to appease the president, they call it a business decision. Yes, it's a business decision if, in order for the president not to come and affect your business, you say, you know what? We are no longer going to put out the Gallup polls on the tracking poll on presidents. We're no longer going to do that. The president falls below 40%. He gets mad. And he says, let's not let America know that they don't like me. Well, they already know they don't like you. But when you start to see this is a trickle, folks, that will start becoming an avalanche or a tsunami, right? But let me tell you, those of us in independent media, like what Don Lemon did, like what Miss Fort in Minnesota did, went to jail. There's nothing that's going to stop them. If their voice can move, if they can speak, they will be out there trying to get these messages to you. And that's also my commitment to what I am doing here. That's why we come out and do the kind of work that we do. The commitment is really for us to keep our democracy informed so that we can, in fact, keep our democracy. And many of you in the chat have said as much. So I need to do a quick pitch to ask you to give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Alternatively, you can also go to kpft.org, kpft.org, and just click that donate button. When you're selecting the show that you're contributing for, please remember to select Politics Done Right as the program and select whatever gift you want, etc., and how much you want to give. You are responsible, every single one of you that have given from $1 all the way up. You are responsible for allowing us to do what we do by putting out not only the truth, but, info that many a times make a difference. I can tell you stories of emails that I got that people would say, why didn't I know that There was one woman I remember with regards to Obamacare who hated it. And listening to the program, she realized that some context or some clauses in Obamacare that her disabled son, who was without insurance because of her hate for not learning about Obamacare, when we had a little talk, she called ecstatic.
Well, I thought he was
Guess
ready to
what?
put you on,
I am
Sandy.
ready to. I am going to
Stand
Sandy. I'm
by.
go. No. I'm going to Sandy in a minute, Jack. I'm going to Sandy in a minute. I just let me finish this. And so therefore, this person got health care because of independent media. Got health care because she was able to go in detail and find out that her son qualified under the disability portion of Obamacare. Sandy, come on in, my brother.
You're hot.
Thank you, Egberto. Well, you thank Suzanne, and we thank Suzanne, and you thank Marnie. Thank you, Marnie, and from the chat, no less. And, Marnie's from Charleston, South Carolina, and Suzanne from Houston, thank you, but you missed one. You missed
did.
Joseph from Lake Jackson, who put down a nice pledge and is moving us along to our $500 goal this morning in a big way. In fact, you're about halfway there, folks. We're about halfway to the goal on this program this morning. We need about another $250. However, the sky is the limit. We're trying to raise $175,000 on this drive. That's a lot of money. And we're getting close to the $50,000 mark. And altogether, collectively, all of us with a voice, just putting down a little bit, it adds up to a large sum. Some of you might be scratching your head when I say that. What do you mean, give money? I turn my radio on, and there you are. There's no coin slot on my radio. Nobody's sending me an invoice in the mail. You may get a call if you're a lapsed donor. That's the only time we might call you asking for money. But, folks, it's really up to you. It's up to all of us. It has been for these nearly 56 years. It's kind of a miracle that you're hearing Egberto this morning, Mayanna and Jack and myself, and on occasion Howard in the morning. It's a miracle. 56 years of listener support right here in Houston. But I think we've turned a corner. I think we've turned a corner as a society. I think more people are waking up because of programs like what Egberto does. Playing the clip from Mika and understanding that there's a lot of anger in the world, you're not alone. And we need to do something, but in order to get out there and vote intelligently and challenge the politicians running for an office, trying to make a living, that's what it's come down to. You could always go out and invent something, make a lot of money, you get a job with a corporation, maybe as a lawyer or an engineer or an accountant. You could do okay for yourself over a career. You could do a lot of things. One of those things to make money these days is become a politician. And when those people come around offering you campaign contributions with literally, as Egberto points out, billions of dollars or millions and millions of dollars, their $100,000 check to them is maybe something like you would write out for $10 on a percentage scale anyway. And we're not asking for that. We're just asking all of you to think about this carefully and do your part. $5 a month. Join us as a sustainer. Those sustaining pledges make a huge difference. In fact, they will shorten the next fund drive if we get enough sustainers this fund drive. That's how it works. It's very simple math. So consider giving up that double cheeseburger through the drive-thru and give us the $5 a month instead. Consider giving up that third latte in the morning at your favorite coffee shop and give us the $6.50 a month. Whatever it is, it's just a little bit that we're asking for. Do your part. If everybody does that, we'll be in a great place. So come on, folks, you've never given before. Think about it carefully. Without KPFT, where would we be? Where would we be in Houston in the morning when you turn on your radio if we were not here, we were replaced, say, by another 501c3, maybe a religious broadcast entity? We got plenty of those in the universe. You know what I'm talking about. That signal that we have, It's probably worth millions and millions of dollars if they put the license up for sale. We've got to protect this community radio station, and we do that through funding at Fund Drive, and that is present right now. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. $120 gets you a Caroline Street coffee mug and a 1-pound bag of Cruiser roaster coffee beans. That's right. No more Lola Savannah. We got a new supplier of what we need most around the station to do what we do, coffee. And I met the gentleman yesterday, and we're ready to go. So 1 pound of coffee beans and a coffee mug, $10 a month. Sip the coffee while you're listening to Egberto. 713-526-5738, option 1. Egberto, back to you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much for this, Sandy. I want to say Los Gatos Sin Madrid
clear, Sandy.
says I became a sustaining member yesterday. Thank you, Los Gatos Sin Madrid. We have such folks participating just fine. I'm coming to you, Betty and Bruce. Let me just get Myla Reson said, "Hey, Myla Reason, how you doing?" Exactly. Ice left a trail of death and destruction. Thank you for that. We also have Astedion says, thank you to Mayana for making me give that commentary this morning on Epstein. We want to say, what else have we got here? I'm scrolling down. Elizabeth Sielek in Mexico says, are we finally at a point in time in the U.S. where calling BS is a recognized life skill? Please say yes. And I'm going to say, you all of you that are listening, all of you that are sharing this stuff, all of you that are contributing, there are many ways to contribute. Some folks don't have the extra fluid cash to contribute, but they can share, they can talk about what we discuss. That is just as important, my beautiful people, just as important. And Marnie says, Egberto, I'm a woman. Hey, sorry, forgive me, please. Stuart Cohen says it's an idiotic phrase brought on by rampant stupidity and dumbing down of American citizens in recent decades to emphasize how thinking is important in life. I don't know specifically what you're talking about, but you are so right with that statement proper. All right, let's go to línea número uno with Betty. How you doing, Betty? Beautiful Betty.
Are you going to be open Monday, President Day?
I hope so. Yes, we are.
Okay. You know, Mika, she gave the whole 9 yards. I know you have to agree with that. How do we make Trump wiser? Make him the... Hello?
Yes, yellow.
I heard a boom. Anyway, make him the Pillsbury Doughboy. Till he's done, bullseye, hungry man. You know, Alberta, I can tell it like it is. Now with Trump, there's no family pack in America. Black History Month. What he's wanting blacks to be fading blacks. Give Alberta.
Okay, sorry about that. I think we kind of cut a little quickly, but that's okay. Thank you for that, Betty. Let me tell you something, Betty. We got a call on yesterday afternoon with somebody actually saying, I want to quote and speak like Betty, so give me a chance to say it like Betty would. And on the 3 o'clock show, Betty, you had somebody mimicking you because you write down your stuff every morning and you have your little piece. You know we love you, girl. Let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce, line number 2.
Hello?
We got you.
Hello? Valentine's Day's coming up, and that's the most expensive holiday of the year. You got to rent the truck, hit the warehouses to get the candies and the flowers, spend the next 10 hours dropping off to your girlfriends. Anyway, I just told a lie. That hurts nobody. Trump's lies hurt people, but we also can get truth helping people. Mika told the truth. Right here on the air, I'm going to say a week from today, I'm going to do a $100 pledge I can't do it today because I had to replace the refrigerator and a bunch of food. But right here on the air, I'm going to tell you it's coming next Friday. Anyway, good morning. Goodbye.
Wait, Bruce, I want to say one thing. I love
Yes.
how you do your commentary because you did something magical there. You told a lie and you say, okay, but that hurt nobody. But what you guys have allowed Trump to do actually hurt people, including the people in Cuba, including the people in Venezuela. Thank you, brother. That was a very interesting way of stating it. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, brother. All right, my brother Jimmy, my 90-plus-year-old Jimmy. How you doing this morning, Jimmy?
Real good, Roberto. I'm calling because last night I was reading Texas Monthly Magazine. They have a glowing report about James Tallarico, who is running for the U.S. Senate against John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. He's running as a Democrat. He is a member of the Texas legislature. He's a strong Christian. But anyway, it's a glowing report about James Tallarico, who's running for the U.S. Senate as a Democrat. I hope someday you will interview him also for your radio program. And some people feel like he's a future president.
Let me tell you, let me just say, Jimmy, I did interview James Tallarico. That means there was a day that you missed politics done right, Jimmy.
Maybe I didn't know the name at that time. Anyway, I also sent a donation this morning. Did you get it?
I haven't. Let me see if it came through. I haven't seen it yet, but it's probably going to come through, or probably Sandy will see it before me, because even Joseph, when he gave it, didn't show up on my screen, and Sandy had to like, Egberto, you missed Joseph. So maybe it's there. So I'm going to throw it back to Sandy to see if it's there. So let's go ahead and do that. But thank you so kindly, Jimmy. All right.
Keep up the good work, Egberto.
Thank you, my brother. You have a good one. Sandy, are you there?
Thank you, Jimmy. I am there. Thank you, Jimmy. We don't see that one yet, but it might pop through. We have discounted software to track all this. But we want to thank Mark C. in Houston for putting down a C note and getting us even closer to that $500 goal this morning. Mark, thank you for recognizing the power of community radio. Community radio stations all across the country are disappearing. Everybody's familiar with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting that Trump so readily dismantled, along with things like USAID and other very valuable programs, Voice of America. All of that was dismantled, and it's not on the front page anymore. Many of these community radio stations relied on that money, and that 20 or 25, 30% of their budget they were getting, sometimes even more, was no longer there, and as a result, they're no longer there. KPFT never got CPB funding, at least not for more than a decade, so that IV wasn't plugged in, if you will, feeding us. It's been listener support. It continues to be listener support, and if you're listening, that's you. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Hold your head up, Houston. You're doing a great job keeping this station around and funding what you love to listen to. Again, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. And on the website, if you're into going out and maybe seeing a show, there's a few underwriters that provide a passel of tickets for many, many entertainers. I think Little Feat's up there and others. And you can check that out at your leisure at kpft.org with a click on that ticket button, and then go ahead and slap down the money and pick up those tickets and go to the show as a thank you gift. But remember, while you're doing all that, the biggest thank you is community radio, having this station. So thank you, Mark, and back to you, Egberto.
Thank you, Mark. Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. That just popped up on my screen as well. And you know what? I guess Morny has forgiven me for getting the gender wrong, because she says, I'm thankful I can listen to Egberto because there's nobody near as good as him in my local area radio in Charleston, South Carolina. Thankful can listen to him here on Substack. Let me tell you something. When a host hears something like that, it makes us melt. Okay, that is touching. That is really touching, and I just wanted to read that out loud because it touched me to the core. Thank you for that, Marnie. Appreciate that. Let's see what else have we got here before I continue. Uh, okay, now let's go to Cuba. We consider ourselves a moral people. We always talk about the sanctity of life and the right more so than anybody else. When we had the revolution in Cuba, and some of you have heard this before, many have not. When there was a revolution in Cuba, uh, I'll be honest, people who look like me, for those of you who can see me on the screen, were sweeping floors, dancing for folk, singing for folk, but didn't have the ability, the opportunity to do absolutely anything else of substance. Of course, farming, etc. When that revolution came, because of what we did with Batista, the United States did with Batista and other dictators in Cuba, uh, it was just a place where you took advantage of folks and wealthy people made a lot of money. Castro came in with the revolution, with Che Guevara, all the others, of course. And at that point, people who looked like me were able to be engineers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, everything else. So much so that Cuba became the Latin American country that most exported scientists, engineers, and doctors around the world. You don't hear that in the United States. You never hear that in the United States. All you hear in the United States is that Cuba, communist, and that's it. You don't hear that when Castro took over Cuba, the first country he came to was the United States of America for support, not to become a communist country. He became a communist country. He was always going to be a more socialist country in that the spoils of the earth was going to belong to the people. Something that we should aspire for. When the oil companies drill in Colorado, when the oil companies drill everywhere else, we should want a piece of that spoil, not just not just a royalty that gets eaten back up with a depletion allowance. You see, we don't learn these things, and because we don't learn these things, we allow money to move upwards as we get poorer and poorer and poorer. Let's look at what Sweden is doing. Let's look at what Norway is doing. They have the right model. But anyhow, going back to Cuba. So we never hear about the realities of Cuba. All we hear is look at Cuba, look at Venezuela. Those are basket cases. You see what that ideology does to people. Remember, they wanted to work with us first. They ran to Russia when America didn't even want to meet with the new person who took over Cuba from a corrupt administration that had people like me simply sweeping floors. In effect, just a layer above slavery. Am I supposed to hate those people? No. Right now, we have Marco Rubio, who was his parents was a part of the ruling class in Cuba. And these people never forgot that what the revolution did was take away much of what was not earned by these people. Much of what was not earned. And they want it back. So they are willing to have, I was speaking to Patrick yesterday on the 3 o'clock show, and I said it's not about starving. In Cuba, you don't necessarily you may not eat the things that you want to eat, but in that great weather, that great land, you don't really starve. In Panama, you still have a whole bunch, and all these places they're poor, but the land gives so much that you don't starve, right? But what we are doing to Cuba is blockade Cuba so that they can't get anything from the outside. What we are doing to Cuba is making sure that children who would get other alimentaciones, other forms of food from around, cannot. That the power needed to turn the farm goods into manufactured good, that the power or oil needed to bring food from the farms into the cities are not there. We're killing people. We're killing people under the pretext that somehow we are going to cause that government to fall. Look, this government has been going through tribulations from the time that Batista was overthrown. And you know what? It made them stronger. It made them a people who developed vaccines. It made them a people who made drugs because they had to. Because what the United States have been doing for decades is penalizing any country who did any business with any business with you know whom, with Cuba. Folks, it's immoral. It's immoral what we are doing to Cuba. It's immoral what we are doing to so many other countries around the world that simply decide they want to have a different economic system, a different social system than we do. And you take a look at who we do business with. We don't really care about their ideology because we do a lot of business with China. When Nixon opened up China, you know, very few people said a peep. I want to thank Michael. Thank you so kindly for being a donor. Appreciate you. He said additional one-time donation. I appreciate you, my brother. And Mila, thank you so kindly for your contribution. We are getting there. We are getting there a little bit more. A little bit more. Thank you so kindly, my beautiful people. But on Cuba, it's immoral. It is immoral what we're doing because we want to get back something that, guys, initially was stolen. I mean, when I talk about the news that we get affect how the rest of the world sees us, not because Americans are bad, not because any of that. Americans are damn good people. And you know who realizes that? When you go in other countries, they love Americans. You know, the cultural melting, I don't like to call melting pot, the cultural salsa that is America is what, when promoted around the world, people love it. They love it. Oh, that was you? Michael gives me hell all the times, and he is You see, I love my peeps, man. Even those that knock me upside my head contribute. Michael, thank you so kindly, my brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Look, guys. So, Michael, because it's you who just gave something, you throw my thoughts off, man. Okay. But anyway, let's continue this on Cuba. You threw my thoughts off, Michael. You got done what you wanted to get done. Okay. Anyway, so it is immoral what we're doing with Cuba. It is terrible what we're doing with Cuba. So I suggest that folks would call their representative and say, let's be the humane country we purport to be. Because we've done business with China and we call them the major communist country in the world. Let me tell you something. China is a capitalist country, okay? Yeah, the government is communist, but economically, China is a capitalist country. We do business, big business, with a lot of countries that have power that are communist countries. Why don't we let Cuba be? Let Cuba be. All right, I am going to throw it one last time to our manager, El Señor Sandy, so that we can, let me wake him up, give him time to wake up from his coffee first. All right, I gave you 5 seconds. Sandy's on.
Thank you. That's what I need. 5 seconds. I want to thank Jose for chiming in from Houston. I think he was looking for that pledge. It did pop through, so thank you very much. And he joined as a sustainer. And again, folks, putting down just a few bucks a month, $5 to $10 a month, giving up that drive-through once in a while, and throwing it our way makes a big, big difference. You leave the house with a $5 bill in your pocket in the morning, and you're going to go shopping. What are you going to buy? I mean, you can barely buy a pack of gum for $5 anymore. I was in the store yesterday, and I tripped across the $8 loaf of bread. Here we go. So, Jose, thank you very much for that sentiment. It means a lot. And everybody else that's stepping up this morning, too. Our number, 713-526-5738, option 1. Or you can go to kpft.org and click securely online. The phone number is also secure. Thanks, folks, for these contributions. We could use a few more. So, Egberto, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Jimmy, yours hasn't popped through yet, but you know I'm going to give you a big hug when we meet on for our HPJC meeting. Ravi, thank you so kindly, Ravi, for supporting us from Houston,
Big
Texas.
Sandy, we're going to
And I think I
705,
also
right?
I think I also did Mila, right,
Yeah,
Mila? I
got you ready
did
to
tell you
turn
thank
back
you.
on anytime.
I hope I got you, Mila. Thank you, and Michael, who shocked the hell out of me. Thank you as well. Let's see. I want to congratulate. Who is this? Los Gatos in Madrid. Congrats to your daughter for graduating USCS. Well, you know what, man? You know, congratulations. I know how it feels when your kid gets through a particular cycle. I just love it. I just love it. Catherine, how you doing? I like Jasmine Crockett for Senate. Some people like Jasmine. Some people like our other brother from. Look, I like them both. I've interviewed actually both. I think I've interviewed Jasmine 3 or 4 times. I've interviewed Larico. I got to get to Jasmine. I haven't done it since she's been running for Senate. I need to reach out to her to see if she'll come on before then. Reach out to her before then. Anyway, folks, we are getting close to that magic number. So please remember 713-526-5738. Anybody wants that take advantage of that coffee con Egberto? Ask our brother in the Glenn Ryan. He's done the coffee with
Sandy, I'm
Egberto
gonna make it
twice,
hot in the
and we
background.
have had a great time. Hey, if you're still in the chat, Glenn, tell them how good a time we had when we go out and have some coffee and talk. And you know, it always lasts longer than we'd say we were going to say. We say, hey, we're going to be there a few up, and then we just go out there and we keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Well, you know, that's what it's all about. But folks, the 2 subjects I wanted to cover was the Minnesota and Cuba, because I know we had to have some time to pitch. So whatever you have commentary about, or if you want to give me a call at 713-526-5738 for a quick 30-second comment, you can do that as well. Lynette says, everyone have a great day. Thank you, Egberto staff, givers, and all those who participated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lynette, I can always count. Lynette is like the spearhead in the chat. She keeps everybody she welcomes everybody in the chat. Right now we have like 812 people in there. Glenn says, nothing like coffee with Egberto. We have to invite someone else this year. You tell us who to invite, Glenn, and we are going to invite someone else to have a trio. The last time we got a MAGA brother that is a listener to the program, we actually had coffee, and that one got Michael, was it you who was mad about that, Michael?
Well, he got a little long
I like
winded, Sandy.
I liked it.
got
Oh
you
no,
standing
go
by.
go. Hey, look, go bring him in. I am long winded. You should know that by now. Yes, I'm long winded. Bring Sandy in.
Well, Egberto, you certainly have a gift of gab. Nobody will deny that. You're tuned to KPFT Houston, our community radio station for this great city of ours, and apparently well beyond, because we're seeing pledges from all across the country, all across the world on this program, and that's just amazing. So, folks, the audience out there, thank you for tuning in and listening and considering considering some alternatives to maybe your own viewpoint and opening up your mind to discussion. This is what we're after: discussion, dialogue. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. It shouldn't be a battle. It shouldn't be, hey, I'll see you out in the parking lot if you want a piece of me. It doesn't work like that. We have this platform, this venue, to have these discussions on the air, to consider these different facts, consider the different viewpoints, and maybe come to a different conclusion, or at the very least, understand how a person might be thinking what they're thinking. It's the basis for understanding, and understanding brings peace. And that's what this station is at its core. That's what you're supporting. 713-526-5738, option 1. We've got just a few minutes left. I'd love to thank you on the air before this program ends. For those of you that have not pledged this year, this only being February, this decade, never, consider it, join in, because the people that are pledging make it possible for you to listen. Don't let others do it for you. Get radioactive. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. One of our major contributors pointed out that this year, 2026, even if you don't itemize on your taxes, you're allowed, I believe, up to $1,000 of charitable deductions. So even if you don't itemize, you don't peel off the deductions and the other things that go into adding up what is tax deductible. This year, when you file your taxes next year for 2026, up to $1,000 is deductible. So keep that in mind as well. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Robbie, thank you so much. Go ahead, Egberto.
Absolutely. This is KPFT Houston. We're at the top of the hour. Anyway, we're going to just go about 3 or 4 more minutes, folks. I want to thank all of you for what you do. And I want you to remember, I really want you to remember that the difference between a KPFT and the mainstream media is we
Sandy,
serve you. And, Sandis just said, Egberto have something about Gab. Yeah, I talk a lot. But Sandy, it's not Gab. But anyhow, let me just say this. When I tell you that what you contribute, not only financially, but with eyeballs, with sharing, with all these things that you do, this is community, first of all. Community is not just being in the same locale. Community is what we do together to make a better country. And I honestly believe in all these concepts, right? I mean, I honestly believe in this. And you know who showed it on steroids, people? You know who showed it at steroids? Minnesota. If there was some entity I could give a big hug, it's Minnesota. Earlier, when this program started, Don said, I am worried, I'm concerned. And my answer to Don is simple: Minnesota. Minnesota showed us that when we work together, yes, a couple of people died, and that's tragic. Well, there are more than 2 people that were murdered by ICE. But the two current martyrs are Mr. Alex Preti and Miss Renee Good. They're our heroes. But Minnesota as a whole tells us that if we stick together, we are more powerful than anything these guys can do. So Don, we don't need to be worried, my brother Don. We need to execute. We need to get together as a community. And yes, also support those voices that are there, that are connecting us to do what we need to do. So I want to throw it to Brother Jack. I hope, Jack, you got something to say, because you didn't have something in the beginning to say.
Well, Hold on. Okay, quit calling ICE and immigration enforcement and deportation. That's the excuse they're using to fund and enact a Gestapo to go after the immigrant first, because politically they can easily justify demonizing the immigrant because of the broken immigration policy. There's more, but we need to get on with democracy now.
Well, look, let me tell you, folks, love you all. The rest of the program, politicsandright.com/newsletter, politicsandright.com/newsletter. Email me directly, kpft@politicsandright.com, kpft@politicsandright.com. Love you all, everyone, absolutely everyone. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out.
We now join Democracy Now! In progress.
Snatching up our neighbors, murdering our neighbors. Until that ends, we don't believe it.
In more news from Minneapolis, a Marine Corps